Imagine this scenario. A mid-level manager at a major tech company, let's call him David, has spent 3 months preparing for a presentation for the executive team. He's done his research and knows the data cold. He walks into the boardroom, clicks on his first slide, and proceeds to spend 20 minutes on background context the executives already know. By slide 4, the CFO is checking her phone. By slide 8, the COO quietly excuses himself. And by the end, David gets a polite, "We'll get back to you," which is, as we all know, polite for no. David wasn't unprepared or incompetent. He just didn't understand the art of communicating up. Today, we're diving into an underrated career skill: how to talk to higher level management effectively. Whether you are presenting to your boss, pitching a new idea to the C-suite, or just trying to keep your senior leaders informed, this video will give you a practical step-by-step framework on how to do it right. Here's the reality. Your technical skills might get you hired, but your communication skills, especially upward communication, will determine how far you go. Think about it from a senior leader's perspective. They're managing multiple teams, fielding dozens of decisions each day, and operating with limited time. When someone communicates clearly, concisely, and strategically, it doesn't just help them, it makes you indispensable. Amazon famously built a culture around this idea. Their executives are known for expecting communication that gets to the point fast. Jeff Bezos reportedly banned PowerPoint from executive meetings in favor of written narratives because he wanted to get people to think through their ideas thoroughly and present only what mattered. The lesson: leaders don't want data dump. They want insight, clarity, and direction. So the question isn't whether upward communication matters, it's whether you're doing it well. The first rule in communicating up is this: know your supervisor's goals, concerns, and communication style before you send or say anything. This sounds obvious, but most people skip it. They prepare what they want to say instead of preparing what their manager needs to hear. Your boss has priorities that might not be fully visible to you: quarterly targets they're accountable for, political dynamics on the leadership team, and pressures from their boss. A great real-world example of this comes from Microsoft's transformation under Satya Nadella. When Nadella became CEO in 2014, he observed that people across the company were presenting in ways that defended their turf instead of addressing business challenges at hand. He pushed the culture toward what he called growth mindset thinking. Lead with learning, lead with impact, but most of all, lead with alignment with organizational goals. This shift fundamentally changed how people communicated up the ladder. Practically speaking, here's what you should know about your supervisor before any communication. What outcomes are they being measured on right now? Do they prefer email, a quick verbal update, or a formal meeting? Are they big picture thinkers, or do they want detail? What decisions are they trying to make? When you understand the answer to those questions, you stop reporting and start communicating up. Here's a mistake people make all the time. They go to their boss with a half-formed thought and then wonder why they don't get traction. Before you communicate upward, especially on anything significant, you need to be armed with the facts, data, and a clear point of view. Adam in marketing is helping his manager prepare a major product expansion presentation. He didn't just draft a few notes, he spent nearly 2 weeks gathering data from sales, marketing, and the strategy team. He tracked down focus groups, analyzed previous rollout performance, and cross-referenced organizational priorities. Only then did he sit down with his manager. In today's data-driven environment, there's no excuse for walking into a meeting without hard numbers. Take the example of Google's internal culture. When teams present new initiatives to senior leadership, they're expected to use data, not intuition, as the foundation. Our users feel like they want this. Doesn't fly. Our A/B test showed a 17% increase in engagement. That is much better. The habit of doing your homework before you communicate consistently and rigorously will set you apart from the people who show up with options and leave without approvals. Oh, and one more thing. No surprises. Senior leaders hate surprises. You probably hate them too. If something goes wrong, if new information surfaces, or if a plan suddenly hits the wall, tell your manager immediately. Don't wait for the next scheduled meeting. Don't bury it in an email chain. Communicate it directly and come up with options for possible solutions. Here's some advice that feels counterintuitive at first. Start with your conclusion, then explain the rationale. Most people build up to their main point. They set the scene, walk through the background, explain the methodology, and by the time they get to what they really want to say, their audience has already mentally moved on. This sounds like David from our opening story. Senior leaders operate on the bottom line up front principle. Tell me what you want, what you recommend, or what I need to know first, and then explain why. This is actually a principle taught by military staff colleges and adopted widely in consulting. McKinsey & Company famously used something called the pyramid principle, where every communication starts with a key insight or recommendation, and then the supporting evidence flows underneath it. It's a powerful structure because it respects your audience's time and intelligence. In practice, that means structuring your communication like this. At the top is your main point, what you're recommending or reporting. In the middle are your key reasons that support it. And at the bottom are the facts, data, or explanations behind each reason. The pyramid principle communicates like this: point, reason, evidence. Let's take the example of an HR team advising executives in a leadership development program as needed. Main point, top of the pyramid, is the company needs a leadership development program to ensure strong leadership capability now and in the future. The three main reasons below are: 1, build a strong leadership pipeline; 2, improve organizational performance; and 3, develop and retain talent. At level 3 are the facts, the data, or explanation behind each reason. Let's look at level 3 for the first reason. 1, leadership turnover is 20% and the average age is 54. 2, internal promotions are faster and less risky than hiring external leaders who may not understand the company's culture or operations. And 3, succession planning requires preparation. Future leaders need time to develop management, decision-making, and strategic skills before stepping into leadership roles. You would then fill in the facts and data and explanations under the other two reasons. Leaders love this structure because it gets to the point immediately, makes reasoning easy to follow, forces clear thinking, and prevents rambling explanations. Another thing that will absolutely level up your communication: visuals that make data speak for itself. We are living in an area where executives are bombarded with information. Charts, dashboards, KPIs are everywhere. The communicators who stand out are the ones who can take complex data and make it instantly comprehensible. When Randy, a marketing specialist, was polishing his presentation, his colleague Bill made a critical observation. "Put your data in charts," he said, "and show growth rates over time. Visuals make information easier to digest." Bill was right. Research consistently shows that people process visuals far faster than text. When you replace a table full of numbers with a single well-designed chart, you're showing that you understand what the numbers mean. Look at how companies like Airbnb and Apple approach investor presentations. Clean visuals, minimal text, key metrics prominently displayed. Their philosophy is, if it can be shown, show it. If it can be simplified, simplify it. The goal is never to impress your audience with how much you know. It's to make it easier for them to say yes. Okay, you've done your research, you've nailed the structure, your visuals are on point, and then someone in the room pushes back. This is actually a good sign. Senior executives push back on things they're seriously considering. If they didn't care, they wouldn't engage. Here's how to handle it. First of all, always assume good intent. To assume good intent means choosing to interpret other people's actions, words, or mistakes as coming from a positive or neutral motives rather than negative ones, unless there's clear evidence otherwise. In practice, it means giving people the benefit of the doubt. Instead of, "She's criticizing me because she wants to undermine me," you assume good intent. "She may be trying to improve the idea or raise legitimate concerns." Instead of, "He was rude to me in the meeting," assume good intent. "He may have been under pressure or didn't realize how it came across." I stress this concept because people often misread stress or brevity as hostility. Assuming good intent helps reduce conflict, encourage open communication, and build trust in relationships. Next, be prepared for likely questions before you walk in the door. Think about what the skeptic in the room will ask. Think about the weakest point in your argument and have a thoughtful response. If you don't know something, say so. Don't bluff. Nothing destroys executive trust faster than getting caught guessing. "That's a great question. I don't have the data in front of me, but I'll get the answer to you by the end of day." It is a completely acceptable answer, and then follow through. Finally, stay calm and stay positive. When the CFO debriefed Adam after his successful presentation, one of the first things he praised was, "You were calm, positive, and sincere." In high-stakes communication, your demeanor is as important as your content. Leaders want to know that they can trust you under pressure. Communicating up is a strategic skill, one that can define the trajectory of your career. Here's what we covered today. First, know your audience deeply. Understand your manager's goals, pressures, and communication preferences. Frame everything in terms of their priorities, not just yours. Second, do your homework. Show up with facts, data, and clear points of view. Eliminate surprises and communicate proactively when things change. Third, lead with a conclusion. Respect people's time by getting to the point first and supporting it with evidence second. Fourth, use visuals to make data accessible. Don't make leaders work to understand your point, make it obvious. And fifth, be confident and composed when it counts. Prepare for hard questions, Be honest when you don't know the answer, and stay positive under pressure. Think back to David from the beginning of this video, the guy who lost the room by slide 4. The difference between David and Randy isn't talent, it isn't effort, it isn't strategy. It's understanding that communicating up is a skill you can learn, practice, and genuinely get good at. Because here's the truth. When your boss looks good, you look good. Your success is tied to the ability to make the people above you informed, confident, and empowered by making the right decisions. So go ahead, book that meeting, build that presentation, make that recommendation. But this time, lead with the point, build it up with data, and deliver with confidence. And don't worry, you got this.
John Paul here. If you like this video, check out the HR Insight YouTube channel where we have more videos just like this. Make sure to click subscribe so you get notifications.